Welcome to the Sai Academy. Today we are discussing about the class 10th chapter 6 life process. So in this previous videos we discussed the how transportation of food and water and minerals taking place through in the higher plants, and as that plants increases their height or developed into complex structure, that time there is the another type of method to transfer energy and as well as the water molecules and food particles by the process called as the transpiration and translocation process. Okay, we will discuss in these two methods with a detailed manner. Okay, provide that the plant has a adequate supply of water. Okay, provided that the plant has an adequate supply of water. Adequate means it is a proper amount of supply of water. Okay, the water which is lost through the stomata is replaced by water from the xylem vessels in the leaf. Okay, here the whatever the water loses from the leaves by the part called as the water stomata. The water is losing from these leaves. Okay, the water is losing from the leaves, from these leaves. Okay, by which part means we can call that the stomata. That part called as water stomata. From the leaves the water is loosed from the stomata through the stomata, and the filling of this water from the xylem. After losing the water by the leaves, again it will refilled by the water through the xylem vessels. Again here the lost through the stomata. Okay, the water is lost through the stomata and the replaced by water from water xylem vessels, and it is refilled by xylem vessels in the leaf. In fact, evaporation of water molecules from the cells of a leaf creates a suction which pulls water from the xylem cells of roots. Okay, here water is making evaporation. This evaporation helps or creates some suction that pulls the water from the xylem cells of a roots. Okay, here we know that here water is losing from the aerial parts of the leaves through the evaporation process. This evaporation process makes or creates some section or a force. We can call that section. So section means what? That force. Okay, that creates this section. Due to this section or a force, the water molecules from the xylem of the cells of the roots to move upward. Due to this force only, the water molecules are moving from the xylem cells of roots to the leaves. Okay, due to that which force? That section force creates the some force. Due to that force only, the water molecules moving upward direction from the xylem cells of the roots. Okay, the loss of water in the form of vapor from the aerial parts of the plant is known as the transpiration. Again, one mark definitions several times asked in your exam, that what is the transpiration process means. You can write the loss of water. Here the loss of water, here the loss of water from the aerial part. Okay, from the loss of water from aerial parts in the form of vapor is called as the transpiration. The loss of water from form of vapor from the aerial parts. Okay, the loss of water in the form of vapor from the aerial parts of the plant is called as the transpiration. Simple definition is there. Only that what is here happening here. So only loss of water in the form of vapor from the aerial parts of the plant is called as what? Transpiration. This is the simple method, and by simple method they can transfer the water molecules in the form of vapor. Okay, excess amount of water is passed through the environment by the help of transpiration process in the plants. Okay, it's very important. One more questions asked for an exam. Okay, Thus the transpiration helps in the absorption and upward movement of water and minerals dissolved in it from roots to the leaves. Okay, here this transpiration process helps the moving of water molecules and minerals from the roots to the leaves. So this roots, okay, this roots conducts the water, and minerals and water and minerals and passes through the leaves. Okay, for this direction are showing that so that roots are absorbing the minerals and water, and they will moving towards the water, towards 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 the leaves. As this arrow mark indicates that the loss of water taking place in the form of vapor, and this vapor makes the, or this method of transpiration will makes the help of what transportation of water molecules always the minerals to the aerial parts of the plant. Okay, it also helps in temperature regulation. Again in this water transpiration process also helps in temperature regulation. The effect of roots pressure in the transport of water is more important at night. Okay, the transport of water taking place at night time, that also done by transpiration. During the day when the stomata are open, the transpiration will becomes a major driving force. During the daytime, the transpiration is a major part of the plant, because that time they will need the more water molecules during force in the movement of water in the xylem. During the daytime means we can say that during photosynthesis process they require water, and that water is provided by the transpiration method. Okay, this also first question arises here, what is the transpiration means. From this point you can write here. Okay, the loss of water in the form of vapor from the aerial part of the plant is called as the transpiration. Again, what is the uses of transpiration in plants means you can write, or what are the applications of transpiration in plants means you can write. Transpiration is helps in the what absorption and upward movement of water minerals dissolving from roots to the leaves. First point, it also helps in what temperature regulation. Again, here transpiration pulse becomes the major driving force in the movement of water and water in the xylem. These are the points which are very important. Okay, these are the definitions of transpiration as well as the some applications of transpiration. Okay, they are very important. Okay, next we can understand now that how water molecules and minerals are transported to the each and every parts of the plant. As the plant becomes larger means we can easily say that by the transpiration process. But plants not only need the water and minerals, but they also required to transport the product of photosynthesis and or energy. So how energy or product of photosynthesis is transported in aerial parts of the plant means we can easily say that by the help of what translocation by the phloem. Okay, by the phloem, the water molecules, by the phloem the food particles or the product of photosynthesis are transported easily. By the xylem, water and minerals are transported in higher organized plants. Okay, next we will discuss about the next we will discuss about the transport of food and other substances. So far we have discussed that the transport of water and minerals in plants. Okay, we already discussed that the in a highly organized plants, water and minerals are transported by xylem tissues. Okay, now we'll discuss that how food and other substances are transported in a highly organized plants. Now let us consider how the products of metabolic process, particularly photosynthesis, are moved from leaves where they are formed to other parts of the plant. Okay, the photosynthesis product, where the products are formed from that place to the different part of the plant, how they can transported, or which tissue they will make this function, we have to discuss here. How product of photosynthesis are transferred from one part to the other part of a plant. Okay, that we have to discuss here to other parts of the plant. Okay, Metabolic process, particularly photosynthesis, are moved from leaves where they are formed to other parts of the plant. This transport of soluble products of photosynthesis is called as the translocation. Okay, again important definition. What is a translocation means? You can write by the help of a translocation process in highly organized plants water is a in highly organized plant food particles are transported to the different parts of a plant. Okay, here what is the translocation means? You can write here the transport of soluble product. Transport of soluble product of photosynthesis is called as what? Translocation. By the help of translocation in highly organized plants transport the soluble product of photosynthesis is called as the translocation. This is the simple method. Okay, by the two methods what is first is called as a transpiration, another method is called as a translocation. By the two process in highly organized plants they will transport the water molecules, minerals and product of photosynthesis. These are the very important functions of the highly organized plants. Okay, remember that. Okay, next it occurs in the part of the vascular tissue known as the phloem. Okay, it is done by what? It is done by the which type of tissue means? We can say that the phloem. In the vascular tissue of phloem is done by the transport of food. Beside the product of photosynthesis, the phloem transport amino acid and other substance. Not only it transport the food particle, but also including with what? Amino acid as well as the salt substance or other substance. Okay, it will also transport amino acid as well as the other substance through the phloem in a higher organized plants. These substances are especially delivered to the storage organs of the roots, fruits and seeds and growing organs. Okay, they will transport the food particle as well as the other particles and amino acids. These are transported to the storage organs. The storage organs called as what? Roots, fruits and seeds and growing organs. Okay, this energy is transported to the which parts means? We can say that roots, fruits, seeds and growing organs. Okay, these energies are transported to the fruits, roots, seeds and growing organs. The translocation of food and other substance The translocation of food and other substance takes place in the sieve tubes with the help of a adjacent companion cells. Okay, the translocation of food and other substance. Okay, the translocation of food as well as the other substance taking place through the with the sieve tubes with the help of adjacent companion cells, both in upward and downward directions. Remember that here the transportation of food as well as the other substance taking place through the which tube? Sieve tubes with the help of adjacent companion cells in two direction, upward direction as well as the downward direction. But in xylem it is taking place only in one direction or only upward direction, but phloem takes the transportation of food particles in both upward direction as well as the downward direction. This is the first major difference between what? Xylem and phloem. The xylem will makes only in upward direction, but phloem makes the both upward as well as the downward direction. Okay, remember that. Unlike transport in xylem, which can be largely explained by simple physical forces, the translocation in phloem is achieved by utilizing the energy. Here another major difference in phloem and what? Xylem means the xylem uses the some physical forces called as the what? Some physical forces. There are two types of physical forces are used by the xylem to transport the substance like water and mineral. What are the process means is called as one is the diffusion method and another one is called as what? Transpiration. These are the two physical force are used to transport the water and mineral. But instead of using a physical force, phloem uses the energy to transport the food particles. Okay, here that phloem is uses energy. Okay, here material like sucrose is transferred into the phloem tissue using energy from ATP. Here that phloem uses what? Sucrose is transferred into the phloem tissue. The sucrose is transferred into the phloem tissue using energy from ATP. The energy, so ATP is called as what? Energy currency of the cell, because it stores the energy and it will provide the energy to the each and every cell for the doing activity. So ATP expandation is called as what? Adenosine triphosphate. The expandation of ATP is called as what? Adenosine triphosphate. This molecules is stored energy and provides the energy when the cell is needed. Okay, that time it will transport it energy or supplies the energy. So that is why it is called as the energy currency of the cell. Okay, this increases the osmotic pressure. This increases the osmotic pressure of the tissue, causing water to move into it. Okay, so this increases the osmotic pressure of the tissue, causing water to move. Here osmotic pressure, you already know that the definition of osmotic pressure. The osmotic pressure means the momentum of water molecules from higher concentration to the lower concentration of water molecules is called as osmotic pressure. What is osmotic pressure means? It is simply one type of method that will transport or exchange the water molecules. Okay, that is called as the osmotic pressures. So for what is the definition of osmotic pressure means? The transport of water molecules from higher concentration to the water molecules of lower concentration is called as what? Osmotic pressure. So this pressure moves the material in phloem to tissue which have less pressure. Okay, this pressure, osmotic pressure, moves the material in the phloem. This pressure moves the material from the phloem to the tissues which have a less pressure. Means the tissues having less pressure, and that outside of the cell having a higher pressure, higher to the lower pressure. Okay, always that higher to lower pressure moves. Okay, that particles move means from the higher region to the lower region only. This allows the phloem to move material according to the plant needs. Okay, by the osmotic pressure they provide the some stability or provide the some advantage that whenever plant needed, that time they will transport their energy. Okay, for example, in the spring, sugar stored in root or a stem tissue would be transported to the birds which need to energy to grow. Okay, this energy is stored in the form of what? Sugar in a root or a stem. That energy is stored in the root or a stem. So this energy is transported when birds are having the capacity to grow. That time the beds are enough to grow. That time they require energy. That energy is transported from the what? Root or stem. This is called as the function of what? Phloem. They transport water molecule, they transport food and other substance by the help of energy, but xylem will do that. Xylem by the help of physical forces. By the simple understanding these topics, we can easily write the difference between what? So xylem will transport the water and minerals, correct? Phloem will transport food particles. So by the process of what? Transpiration, by the process of translocation. Okay, this xylem will provides only in single direction. Phloem provides what? Both direction, upward as well as the downward direction. For this purpose they will use the physical forces. For this purpose they will use the only energy. Okay, these are the simple difference we can write from the xylem and phloem topics. Okay, these are the some difference of xylem and phloem. Okay, next topic will comes here. So excretion. Okay, so excretion will continue in our next video. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe my channel and share with your friend, and thank you once again. Thank you for watching. You want to our previous videos means we are given link in the descriptions. Again check, otherwise you also check our playlist and see our videos on different chapters. Okay, thank you for watching.